healthcare provider received and what they plan to do to help address the epidemic. Plus, it's time again for seniors to enroll in Medicare, what you can expect and how high premiums will be for next year. That's all ahead on the Now Bakersfield. Chris?
Let's get to our first check of the lineup here on the Now. We're going to catch you up on everything you need to know about Sears bankruptcy filing, especially as we get ready to shop for the holidays. And over-the-counter Tylenol, it is now advertising it's opioid-free. We're talking to a pharmacist today about why something like this might be necessary for drug makers. And later, really cool story about how college care packages, they're helping out parents more than kids. Really interesting story about community ahead.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, beer lovers, listen up. A festival is returning to Kern County this weekend, featuring beers from all over California, including craft beers from right here in the Valley. The Now's Tori Cooper spoke to 2 local companies and has more on what you can expect and how the event will support the community this year. Tori?
All right, last year, craft brewery companies from throughout California made their way down to Kern County to help donate their time to a good cause and to showcase their beer at the Rockin' River Beer and Music Festival. Now, what's special about the festival is that each year organizers pick a local nonprofit that exceeds expectations. And following the event, the nonprofit receives a portion of the proceeds to continue their efforts. And this year, brewers are excited to return.
It's an industry that keeps on brewing.
The brewing process is 1 day and about 2 weeks to go through the whole fermentation process before it'll get on tap.
And bringing people together.
It's been awesome having this brewery. We have an amazing community, and that was part of the reason for wanting to open it, was to have a place where people could come together after recreating, after working.
Owner of the Kern River Brewery Company, Rebecca Giddens, is one of 30 independent craft brewing companies selected for this year's Rockin' River Beer and Music Festival.
This is pretty awesome, having a local festival up here in Kernville. It's a pretty easy one to draw other brewers from San Diego, from Los Angeles. Like, people want to come up to the mountains. They want to get up here.
Local brewers like Giddens and non-local brewers welcoming the additional platform in Kernville to share their beers with another community, while also learning something new about the $26 billion industry fueling the beer market and bringing new jobs to places like Kernville.
It's always giving us ideas of something to brew, something else that might be interesting for the public, what people are gravitating towards, what they're not gravitating towards.
Last year, the Rockin' River Beer and Music Festival welcomed over 700 people to Kernville, generating tourism for the small mountain town while also creating a reputation for Kern County brewers in the growing craft beer market.
So folks that when they're traveling from up north, they'll head down to San Diego, where it is a mecca of breweries down in San Diego. But they'll know to stop in Bakersfield, hit a few places, stay the night.
Lengthwise Brewery Company sales manager Chris Perrier also says the festival contributes to the network of helpful connections for local brewers like Lengthwise to grow and use.
Tembler, for example, they'll run out of certain ingredients that they need, and we'll have them. And we'll trade, and we'll need something from them, and we're willing to trade. Everyone's willing to compromise.
The keepers of the Kern nonprofit organization receive $15,000 from the time and resources that brewers like Lengthwise and the Kern River Brewery Company donated to the festival last year, helping volunteers within the Keepers of the Kern continue their preservation efforts along the Kern River corridor. And this year, the Kern River Conservancy nonprofit organization says they are thrilled to be recognized for their volunteer cleanup efforts, and that proceeds from the festival will also be put back into the Kern County community thanks to the brewers.
Keeping the Kern River clean, fulfilling our mission to protecting recreation for everyone in Kern County and California to enjoy the Kern River.
VIP tickets are already sold out, and over 400 general admission tickets have already been sold. But beer drinkers who decide to purchase a ticket this year will have access to a new service that will shuttle people from anywhere in Kernville to the festival this Saturday. An event organizer, Jamie Ward, says sober drivers will also have a reason to attend.
You could go to one of the breweries that's bringing like craft soda that they make, and you can get the food and enjoy the bands.
All right, now general admission tickets are $55 and designated drivers get in for $25. If you would like more information on how you can get tickets for this Saturday and for a list of all the brewers attending the festival, head to our website, turn to23.com.
All right, Tori. Well, meanwhile, the local fight to help end opioid addiction just received a major resource in its battle to keep people opioid free. Omni Family Health, a network of 30 community health centers in Kern, Kings, Tulare, and Fresno counties, announcing today they're the recipient of a $285,000 federal grant to deliver behavioral health services to low-income substance users. Omni's award was part of a nearly $400 million grant specifically designated to address the behavioral health issues inherent with substance use disorders. Omni Family Health will use the funds to hire more behavioral health providers and support staff, as well as expand treatment through telehealth, a method of delivering services to patients who are isolated, disabled, or have a lack of transportation and access to health care. Chris?
It was once the largest retailer in America, but today Sears is filing for bankruptcy. The Now's Kamasi are looking into what's next for the company which owns Sears and Kmart and others like it, and what does all of this mean for you?
Sears says it's still planning to stay in business, keeping profitable stores open, as well as the Kmart and Sears websites. And you can see this store right here is operating business as usual. But this makes Sears the latest of dozens of retailers that have had to declare bankruptcy in the age of Amazon. After 132 years in business, Sears is filing for bankruptcy. The company, which owns Sears and Kmart, filed early this morning. But other retailers who filed for bankruptcy, Toys R Us, Radio Shack, and Sports Authority, didn't make it. So can Sears survive?
It's really hard for me to see any long-term survival.
Darren Duber-Smith is a senior lecturer at MSU Denver and says that's because the company doesn't have the resources to invest in its stores.
You can't remodel the stores. You can't invest in research and development and do some of the things that retailers really need to do to get with the 21st century.
In retail, the 21st century is the Amazon age. So how do retailers survive? Duber-Smith says it's not by trying to beat Amazon at its own game.
You can't offer lower prices because Amazon's kind of got that tied up. And the advantage of Amazon being strictly a pure play online entity, that's eroded. Amazon's opening up hundreds, if not thousands, of brick and mortar stores.
What can stores do?
You're going to have to offer a superior on-the-ground customer experience, seamlessly integrated with your e-commerce operation, and with an eye to competition to make sure that you can do things like price matching and keeping loyal customers happy.
Right now, Sears has about 700 Sears and Kmart stores open and employs roughly 68,000 people. It's hoping to find a buyer for a large number of those stores and plans to close at least 140 stores by the end of the year. So if you come to your local Sears store, does this mean deep discounts? Well, possibly. Likely, though, you won't be able to return what you buy. And if you have a gift card, experts say it's best to use it as soon as possible. For the Now, I'm Kumasi Aaron.
All right, Kamasi, thank you. Let's get back to our lineup here. An over-the-counter Tylenol is now advertising it's opioid-free. Now, we're talking to a pharmacist today about why something like this might be necessary for drug makers. Let's get to some new information for you here in the Now News feed. The government could soon ship coal and natural gas from West Coast military bases. The goal is to make it easier to send resources to Asia. It's also a way to go around environmental opposition to fossil fuel exports. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren firing back at President Trump today. He has called her Pocahontas. He claims that she lies about being Native American. Warren releasing a DNA test that says she is mostly European, but there is strong support. She has Native American ancestry 6 to 10 generations ago. Spirit Airlines tightening its rules when it comes to emotional support animals. Starting today, passengers need to give 48 hours notice if they're bringing an animal. Several airlines, they have been tightening the rules over which animals can come aboard. Well, the National Taxpayers Union claiming that the latest round of tariffs on Chinese goods are costing us more than the Affordable Care Act. Now, our partners at PolitiFact did look into this, and they deemed it as half true. In a Washington Examiner op-ed, the union said the cost of the president's tariffs would be more than $41 billion next year. You compare that to healthcare law taxes, and that reportedly added up to $34 billion. Now, PolitiFact, however, says these numbers, they're just estimates. Now, we still don't know how the tariffs will affect the number of Chinese imports, so that number could actually change. Well, criminals, they are breaking into cars, and it's not just stealing fancy stereos anymore. Thieves actually taking off with airbags. About 50,000 of them. That's according to the National Insurance Crime Bureau. Yeah, it turns out airbags, they're pricey, tempting for thieves to steal them, then resell them. Now, another thing about airbags is they're easy to take off with because they're not as heavy or bulky as other car parts. Now, the Bureau says many thieves will target cars in open parking lots, and that's when they go in, they break in, cut into the steering wheel, then take that airbag and run. Now, it is mostly airbags on the driver's side they want. There's not as big a demand for passenger side airbags. Now, airbags, they are a growing trend that we are seeing when it comes to parts from cars being taken, and criminals, they seem to be breaking into Hondas more than any other car brand, especially Civics and Accords.
Well, today is the start for the annual Medicare enrollment period. Today until December 7th is the time when all Medicare beneficiaries can change their health and prescription drug coverage. It's a time to reevaluate your current plan and make sure it meets your needs. If you're covered by Medicare, expect your premiums to increase slightly next year. The standard monthly premium for Medicare Part B will go up $1.50 from $134 in 2018 to $135.50 in 2019. The new rates were released last Friday, and we have more information on Medicare coverage that you can call the Kern County Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program main office. The number is there on your screen, 868-1000. Best Buy is getting ready for the holidays by hiring thousands of people. The company will host a national holiday hiring fair on Wednesday, October 17th at all of its stores. People looking for a fun and rewarding job or just looking for extra cash can apply in person or online for jobs ranging from sales, customer service, merchandising to inventory. Interviews will take place the same day. Again, that's happening Wednesday, October 17th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at all Best Buy stores. Well, taking a live look outside. If you saw the sunset earlier, you know it was gorgeous. Now, tonight it looks like we've got clear skies. Temperatures were beautiful. Are we expecting the same thing for the rest of the week, Allison?
We're definitely expecting that tomorrow, but temperatures are actually going to be warming up slightly each day as we head through the work week. Today, we had a high of 81 degrees, so that was warmer than normal, which is at 80 for this time of year. But temperatures actually right now down from what we were feeling yesterday. Down 4 degrees in Bakersfield, down 10 in Delano, and 9 in Tehachapi. But again, temperatures will be warming each day slowly this week. But we did feel strong winds earlier today due to a low pressure system that pushed through the county. Actually, Ridgecrest had gusts reaching 39 miles per hour, and it was strong as in other places in our mountain desert communities as well. But those strong winds actually brought very low humidity values. Right now, we're looking at 14% humidity in Isabella, but look at this, 4% in Ridgecrest and 1% in Jawbone Canyon. These low humidity values did bring an elevated fire risk for us earlier this afternoon, and that will be continuing tomorrow afternoon as well. But we will be seeing another day of moderate air quality tomorrow, slightly better than what we are feeling today with an AQI of 58, and temperatures right on track near seasonal tomorrow. 81 here in Bakersfield, 77 up in the Kern River Valley, and will be in the upper 60s in our South Mountains. But again, slowly increasing each day. We're going to be seeing these sunny skies Tuesday through Sunday, 81 degrees tomorrow, up to 85 on
on Friday, 86 on Saturday, which does look to be the warmest day of the week. And then some clouds roll in on Monday. Breezy conditions in our mountain communities. That's going to drop temperatures to the upper 70s by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. The Now Bakersfield will be right back.
All right, let's get to the Now news feed. And if you're on one of those jobs where you just stand all day, that moment you get to sit, it can just be the best. But not letting cashiers sit, that could cost Walmart $65 million. A woman bringing a class action lawsuit 9 years ago. California law saying businesses, they must provide employees seats, and she says the company did not do that. The country of Hungary taking a pretty harsh approach to homelessness. The country's making sleeping on streets illegal. Homeless who don't go to shelters, they could be forced to do public works projects unless they pay a fine, and if they can't pay, they go to prison. Well, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they are having a baby, which means it's time to set the odds on possible names. Now, royal names, they usually come from previous royals, so as of today, UK odds makers have Victoria, Albert, and Diana as early favorites. Well, have you seen Tylenol's new advertising? Take a look at it right here on your screen. One of the top over-the-counter pain relievers. It is now advertising itself as opioid-free. Now, in a time where opioid addiction is sweeping the country, over-the-counter drug companies, they want nothing to do with a word that has become synonymous with addiction. The Now's Annie Taylor looking into this.
As you know, America has a huge opioid epidemic, and a lot of it's being blamed on the pharmaceutical companies for saying, hey, this is safe to take, only 10 years later to find out many Americans are addicted.
Kevin Flynn with the nonprofit organization Health Advocate says more than ever before, Americans want transparency.
Your aspirins, your Tylenols, your Dayquils, they're saying, look, we don't have opioids in our medicines. You won't become addicted. They're safe to take.
The city of Boston proposed just last month a bill that would make pharmaceutical companies put warning labels on their opioid bottles saying they are addictive.
We've all saw that with alcohol in childbirth. Hey, if you're pregnant, alcohol, hurts the fetus. So again, this all goes to transparency, which is people should know what they're taking.
Even though doctors have been prescribing Tylenol and other over-the-counter pain relievers as an alternative to opioids, some patients feel they don't work the same. However, a new study out by Albany Medical Center shows they are just as effective. A few over-the-counter medications doctors recommend are Advil, Aleve, ibuprofen, and Tylenol. Ultimately, Kevin says, patients have the right to know if their medication is addictive or not.
An informed consumer is a better consumer.
For the Now, I'm Annie Taylor.
All right, Annie, thank you. And you're going to have more options for Medicare next year as 14 new companies will be selling Medicare Advantage plans for 2019. The Kaiser Family Foundation says that's more new companies than a typical year. Open enrollment starts today for Medicare. It runs through December 7th. Premiums are up, but only $1.50 from this year. Well, your family may depend on a caregiver to help with your loved ones, but a new study shows caregivers are less likely to get the right care for themselves. The AP and NORC found about a third of caregivers are skipping out on physical and dental checkups, treatments, and prescriptions. They're just too busy with their jobs. Now, the poll also shows it's not just caregivers who do it for a living, it's also relatives who are taking care of older family members. Now, doctors say it is equally important for caregivers to seek advice from doctors when they go with the patient to an appointment. Caregivers, they should get information about self-care or support programs for caregivers. Now, some healthy ways to cope with the stress of the job also include praying, meditating, going outside, and just talking it out. How about this one? The state of Maine trying to get younger people to move there by taking care of student loans. Maine has one of the oldest populations in America, so they're trying to attract younger people by offering tax credits. The Educational Opportunity Tax Credit is available to college grads who attend any college in the U.S. after 2016. The amount of money you get depends on the type of degree you receive. All right, next on our lab, we have a really cool story about how college care packages, they're helping out parents actually more than they're helping kids. It's an interesting story about community. That's when the Now continues. Well, doctors in England will soon be able to write a prescription to help with loneliness. Now, it doesn't come in the form of medication. Instead, doctors will tell patients to do more social things like joining cooking classes or walking groups. This year, the country created a new government job, which is called the Minister of Loneliness. The British government finding that more than 14% of its population deals with loneliness. Experts say loneliness is linked to heart disease and Alzheimer's. Well, for parents, it can be hard to deal with their kids leaving for college. Now, some parents are coping with their children's absence with care package parties. Here's the Now's Annie Taylor giving us a look at how all of this really works.
Well, it's kind of similar to a potluck, except parents will bring items they can actually stuff into boxes. Things like snacks, stress balls, and little reminders of home along with the notes of support. But care package parties are more for the parents than the students themselves. These parties have just gained popularity in the past few years all over the country, and they snowballed after a few parents started talking about it on a Facebook group called Grown and Flown. The group founders say parents don't just miss the kids, they also miss the community they used to have when their kids were in grade school.
Really what helps, and this is why the care package parties really strike such a chord, what helps is staying committed and connected to other people in your community. What happens when the kids go is not that just you lose the kid, that's one of the pain points, but that your community dissipates. So I think the parents who stay the happiest are the ones who stay connected.
Well, Chris, it's not all work at these parties. Usually the parents will chat and have a glass of wine, of course, before they start packing the boxes. It's also a great way for parents to talk and give each other advice. I'm sure if my mom knew about this, she'd be all over it.
Yeah, and it's kind of a win-win. You know, parents feeling better, and then as a college kid, it's getting stuff.
Did your parents do this?
Nah, yeah, they did. Yeah, I got some care packages. Don't know if they went to a party, but all right, Annie, thanks. And tomorrow we're getting a look at what one of the most unhealthy cities in America is doing to improve access to health and health care. The lessons there that could help across the country.
And coming up tonight on 23 ABC News at 11, a disgusting problem uncovered at an apartment complex in New York. Check this out. Residents demanding change after their apartments became infested with rats. One of them taking that video you just saw, how that problem is now being addressed. Again, we'll have that story and much more tonight on 23 ABC News at 11. In the meantime, on a much lighter note, we've had some great temperatures here this past weekend and today.
Yeah, they were just gorgeous today, slightly above seasonal for this time of year. 81 degrees was our high here in Bakersfield, but cooling down quickly as the sun sets. 71 degrees right now here in Bakersfield. But temperatures will be slowly warming each day this week. Again, right around seasonal tomorrow, 81 degrees up to 83 on Wednesday, 84 Thursday. It's going to be just a gorgeous weekend ahead.
Feeling like fall. And how many days till Halloween?
16.
16 days. It's
not counting
here.
or anything.
Yeah. That's going to do it for us on the Now. We'll see you back here tonight at 11.